From the field to the locker room, covering the six-time champs, this is New England Nation.
Welcome to a New England Nation Overtime. It's a big week this week, and we have Sophie Weller from the Patriots Wire joining us. Sophie, we were just talking about how crazy this turnaround has been. I mean, back-to-back seasons, 4 wins. You were here. You said this is your first time covering the playoffs, and now they're going to the Super Bowl. Just what have you witnessed from this turnaround, and what has really been the key?
Well, first, hopefully, you're going to be saying 7-time Super Bowl champions soon in your introduction there for overtime. But no, I think it's just the buy-in is what I've noticed the most. It's that the players have fully bought into what Mike Vrabel has brought into this team, and they believe in everything he says. You can see it in the locker room. You can see it in every video posted. They love their coach. They love playing for him, and they're also thriving on this underdog mentality that they've had all season, and they're now a huge underdog going into the Super Bowl. No one's picking them to win, and I think that's a good thing for them.
I think it's been working in their favor, too. I mean, we've been talking about it the last 2 weeks, specifically with the Patriots defense, starting with the Texans. Everybody was talking about Houston. Does that add a chip to their shoulder? And again, last week, people talking about the Broncos defense, still thinking that with a backup quarterback that they could beat this Patriots team. How much do you think that chip on their shoulder mentality has really helped the defense in this postseason?
I think it's been everything for them this postseason, to be honest. I think, it's we all we got, we all we need. Well, they're banking on that. They're proving that each and every game because no one's picking them. I mean, you had the unanimous ESPN panel going for the Texans. Last week, everyone's talking about the Broncos O-line and how dominant that is. And, New England's really got to be ready. And to be honest, the O-line didn't factor in that much to that game. No. The Patriots defense was all over it. So every week, I think that they're carving out a bigger name for themselves. And yet, week after week, they're getting disrespected. It's happening again. I mean, everything you're seeing today has been, Seattle's got this. This is a walk in the park for Seattle. And it's like, you know what? You can't say that. This New England team has defied every single odd that has been put in their way. And this is the last one. And they could do it. Like, no one's giving them credit, and they deserve a lot of credit for everything they've done.
I agree with you. And I think something else that bothers me is hearing all the Drake May hater talk a little bit. I mean, this guy is a 23-year-old. It's his 2nd season in the league. And no, he's not having an MVP caliber postseason, but he's doing enough to get this team wins. What have you seen from him? And I mean, and also, Denver game, he didn't turn the ball over. That was the biggest key going into this. What have you seen from him in the poise and the step from year 1 to year 2?
Well, first off, you're going up against 3 of the top 5 defenses in the league. That has been their path. And everyone's saying schedule, they've gotten away with how easy it is, whatever. They have not gotten away with anything. They have faced 3 of the toughest defenses in this entire league, and each and every time have come away with the win. It might not be the prettiest win, but you know what? Doesn't matter. This is the NFL. Not everyone's going to be beautiful. Not everyone's going to be, this spectacular showing. But it's who, at the end of the day, who's on top, and that has been the Patriots. Now, as for Drake specifically, I think that, yes, he's struggled a little bit, but also conditions have played a factor in the passing game. They've had some bad weather for 2 of their games, whereas now they're heading to California. It's going to be hopefully a little bit better for that Super Bowl Sunday. And he's due for a good game. And also, it's just he's so even-keeled at it all. He's approaching every week the same throughout the plays. I actually talked to Josh Dobbs before that first playoff game and said, are you seeing anything different? Is there something you're noticing in Drake ahead of this playoff game? He's like, no, because he's doing all season. It worked. His preparation worked for him. So why would you change it now? And that's, seems to be holding true.
Yeah, I think his other backup, DeVito, I talked to him this week, and he kind of shared the same sentiments. And he was like, who cares what it looks like? He's like, the number one thing for me when looking at an MVP candidate is, do they get the team the wins? And Drake May seems to do that. also on the shoulders of his defense the past couple weeks. And I know a big key, at least for Mike Reese this week today in the press conference, he was mentioning Milton Williams. I was listening. Just how big of a signing was that? And I mean, Big Milt didn't think they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. I wonder what he's telling the locker room heading into this week. I mean, back-to-back Super Bowl appearances for him.
I mean, he's saying big dogs eat in January. Big dogs have been eating all season for him. I mean, yeah, minus those 4 weeks on IR, or 5 weeks on IR. But no, he has been such an incredible signing for the Patriots. It's, I think a lot of people were questioning it just in terms of like the money and all that. I think people were excited about it, but sometimes these big signings don't work out. This is one that clearly worked out in every possible way. It has made the defensive line stronger. He's making play after play this postseason. And I think what's also great is seeing Mike Vrabel with him. Barmore, like that whole group. Like Vrabel loves the D-line. You can see it. And there was a video I have of after the game, Barmore basically just like jumped into Vrabel's arms post game and was like, they were jumping up and down. It was like, it was like a child was like with their father, it was like they were so happy. And I think that says it all about this team is that, yes, 1 week it's Drake, 1 week it's Milton, 1 week it's Leonard Taylor blocking a punt coming out from the practice squad. Like this team, the biggest thing is that they are working as a team. It's not one player. It's not, we're expecting all from this one guy. We expect everyone on our team to make a play, and every week they have been doing that.
It's funny you said that. I think it was either this past week or the week before, it was Jeremy Springer who said that this team is the most unselfish team that he's worked with, from Brendan Schooler to Stephon Diggs. Everybody on this team is so unselfish. And I know he doesn't seem to take a lot of credit, but Mike Vrabel is at the head of this ship. How much do you think that he has played into this turnaround, obviously?
He won't give himself credit. I'll give him all the credit. I think that you're seeing the impact that coach can truly have on a franchise. Last season, you bring in a new coach and it's a 4-win team. This season, you bring in Mike Vrabel and your AFC champions heading to the Super Bowl. And his first year, the way he can talk to the players, he's both a leader to them, but he's also someone that they can rely on. He's someone that they can go to. He's feared and he's loved all in one. And that is such a perfect combination for this team right now. Plus, he also knows what it's like to be in their shoes. And I think that's just as important, where he's able to look back on his experiences and help them through that. So I give Mike Vrabel as much credit as someone can get for this turnaround. I believe that goes to Mike Vrabel. And I also believe that some of it should go to Robert Kraft as well. I wrote a column on this earlier this season, but my whole thing is that Kraft kind of got away with his pride a little bit, and he was like, we're going to get rid of Gerard Mayo after one season. A lot of owners would not do that after handpicking someone to be like the successor to a 6-time Super Bowl champion. But he knew it wasn't working, and he didn't want to waste any more time. And they went out and got Mike Vrabel, and you're looking at the result. So I do think that Kraft deserves some credit for this turnaround as well, for being able to do something that I think a lot of owners would not do in this league.
100% agree with that. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to have more after the break.
Now, New England Nation continues.
Welcome back to New England Nation Overtime. I'm Morgan Weaver. Our guest this week, joining us once again, is Sophie Weller from the Patriots Wire. Sophie, we were just talking about it in the last block, but conditions, Drake May, this offense, what is it going to take for them to get a Super Bowl ring this season?
You need a full team effort. That is what it is. You need Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson to be able to run all over the Seattle defense. You need big plays from Hunter Henry. It was a quieter game for him, I feel like, recently. You need him to step up because that's one of Drake's favorite receivers. You need a big game from Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs. The thing that this offense has that a lot of offenses don't across this league is so many different weapons that Drake trusts and goes to at any time. That is what's going to matter here, is that they need to make it so hard for the Seattle defense to know who Drake's going to throw to, simply because of how many weapons he has. And that is what could change this game.
You mentioned Ramondre Stevenson, the season that he has had from the first time we saw him earlier in the season. It was a rough start, but the growth that he has shown, and the coaches love him, his teammates love him. Just what have you seen from him this season from week 1 through week 3 to now?
Perseverance. That is someone who, a lot of fans and even some, reporters were completely out on after all of his fumbling issues and whatever it may be. But he came back and proved everyone wrong so easily, in a way, with just some simple games. And he, with everything too, he's had so many off the field struggles this season, and he's come back from it all. It's really incredible to see. And I think what's helping him, and maybe what can be contributed to this turnaround in a way, is Josh McDaniels. The two of them have worked together in the past, and when Josh talks about Ramondre, it's like, it's like writing a love letter. He's so happy to work with him again. You can tell that he just takes pride in everything Ramondre does, and it's really incredible to see. And I think it could be a big Ramondre game this Super Bowl. I'm hoping for it.
Will Campbell, we haven't mentioned him yet, but he had a rough couple first games of the postseason. This week didn't let a sack on his buddy Drake May. Just how much has he shown us in his just rookie year being able to help this team go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think what he has done is basically, I think he said it perfectly the other week, but I'm not going to say it because I think he swore.
Yeah, he did.
It was, like, who cares what they're saying on social media, basically, was the message. And he's right. He's not listening to any of that. And if he is listening to it, it's fueling him. He was going up against Nick Bonito, who is someone who can change a game. We've seen it all season. Nick Bonito really did not play that big of a factor in this one, as he could in past games. That was because Will Campbell. I mean, the only real mistake he had that I can think of is the missed chop block that he attempted. But other than that, he was blocking him well the whole time, and he's stepping up to the plate. He's another one that I think it's just like perseverance. He was counted out by a lot of people, the short arm thing with before the draft, gets drafted, and then now this rough playoff stretch where people are like, oh, is he really a guard? Now we're back to that conversation. He's like, no, I'm a tackle. Look at what I can do. And it's all about growth. He's a rookie. It's not going to be a flawless performance. I don't think any rookie, no rookie has been in this position before. They're in the NFL playoffs. He's on his way to the Super Bowl in his first season. And he's had to block some of the toughest guys in the league. And it might not have been perfect, but he's risen to the challenge, and he's playing better.
And you mentioned the fact that he is a rookie, but a lot of these guys on the team aren't rookies, but it's still their first playoff appearance. A lot of them, it's their first Super Bowl appearance. I think only 5 have been or played in a Super Bowl before. Do you think that's going to be a disadvantage against a more of a veteran Seattle team?
Yeah, I will say that I think it does help that Seattle has experience playing in the Super Bowl, because they know the stakes, they know the adrenaline that's going through you, they probably know how to deal with it a bit better. That being said, this team has been the we all we got thing all season. They've thrived off being the underdogs, and I think this is another reason why they're the underdogs. And they also have Mike Vrabel, who has again been in this position, so he's gonna help them kind of stay even keeled, prepare for this game the best way that they possibly can, relying on Milton Williams, who did this last year. Of all people to go to, they should be relying on him these next 2 weeks of just, how do I deal with this? How do I make sure that I'm treating this? Yes, I know it's a big game, but that I want to win this game just like I wanted to win when they played the Jets in the regular season. And I think he's someone who can help them do that.
I think to that point that you just made, something that has stood out to me about this team all season long is every single week, it's never been looking far ahead. It's been preparing and focusing for the team in front of them. And they've never overlooked anybody, honestly. They've approached the same teams the same way, whether it's the Jets or the Broncos. They're looking at them the same way. Do you think that's helped them get to this point?
Oh, 100%. And that's Mike Vrabel too, right there, is that, you're not looking at any game as a walk in the park or an unwinnable game. I mean, if you're looking at an unwinnable game, you don't win some of the games that they did, starting with Buffalo in Buffalo so early on Sunday Night Football. But they've approached every single game the same. And that is why they are where they are right now. And again, I think with Mike Vrabel's help, with Milton, with relying on some of these guys that have been in this position, they should be okay for Sunday. They maybe come out a little amped. You might see a few mistakes early on, but as long as they can keep those to a minimum, you're going to see them settle in. You're going to see them just realize we're playing a game. This is a game right now.
And how big do you think it was for them to have Mac Hollins back? I mean, did you see him walking in the Warriors reference? I mean, again, that's another point. 9-0 on the road this season. We'll get to that later, but Mac Hollins, just what does he provide for them?
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily win that game. He had two big plays for the Patriots. He's a great guy to have kind of in that middle area of the field. I kind of look at him as you have Kayshawn, you have Stephon Diggs going kind of deep on the sidelines, running those routes. But Matt Collins is such a tall receiver that if he's matching up against a safety in that middle of the field, like, he's probably going to win that matchup. And it's also just his presence on the field, I think, is so important. We spoke to Travion Henderson today, and he was so happy to have Mac. You could see, like, the smile when we asked him about it was everything. Apparently, Mac has been playing this Warriors reference, video all over. He did it coming off the field, too. There were bottles in his hand. He was screaming Warriors. So it's his energy, too. It's that leadership role and that levity he brings to the team.
Absolutely. Sophie, don't go anywhere. And viewers, don't go anywhere. We're going to have more after the break on New England Nation Overtime.
Now, New England Nation continues.
Welcome back to New England Nation Overtime. I'm Morgan Weaver. Joining us this week is Sophie Weller from the Patriots Wire. Sophie, we're just talking about that road warrior mindset. It seems like they play their best football away from Gillette Stadium. They're 9-0, looking to go 10-0 and a Super Bowl ring. Just how much do you think the Vrabelisms of the road warrior, big dogs come out in January? I forget some of the others, but how has that motivated this team every single week, especially away from Gillette?
I think it's motivated them. I think it's motivated the fans. I think it's motivated every single person watching this team. He just seems to always come up with a new Vrabelism. I love that, by the way. I'm going to steal that. But he always seems to have a new one every single week, and it just applies so perfectly to the game. And that's what matters. Again, it's all that buy-in. It's that these players just love playing for him. They respect him. They, fear him a little bit, but they also just know that he's like their guy at the end of the day. He's got their back, and that says it all. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what Super Bowl Vrabelisms we're going to get now.
We're probably going to hear one on Thursday, a new one. They're going to come up with something, and then Mac's going to come in yelling it or whatever. But just looking ahead, or actually today, you were at the press conference today. What were some takeaways today that, Vrabel spoke, Travion Henderson spoke, Christian Gonzalez also spoke. Just what did you take away from this morning's press conference?
First off, it seems the Drake injury, this whole shoulder injury, is a little overblown. Yes, has he been potentially dealing with something? Did something happen in this game to aggravate it? Yes, but that happens to every player. They always deal with something. I think that, as Vrabel said, it's been a little overblown. They don't seem worried about it. I think Drake's, on that field come Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. He's got 2 weeks to rest it too. But that was my biggest takeaway of the day, is just this whole thing seems like it's brought on by social media and nothing else. For Christian Gonzalez, he kind of spoke about how this whole experience hasn't sunk in yet. Like it's not going to sink in until he's in San Francisco. And for Travion Henderson, again, it's, this is a guy who won a national championship with Ohio State, leaves, and now is competing in for the Super Bowl with the Patriots, and yet still he remains as humble as ever and is just so thankful to be part of this organization right now.
Oh, that's crazy. How lucky can one guy be? I mean, last year, hoisting a national championship trophy, this year, possibly a Lombardi. But to the Drake May point, I think Vrabel also said, you know, we're getting ready for our 21st game of the season. Nobody is 100% at this point. Just the grind of it, the guys eventually getting to the end. But looking ahead to the Seahawks, I don't know how much you've studied up or watched the Seahawks this season. Just what do you know about them? What kind of challenges are they going to present the Patriots? How do these two match up?
The one that scares me the most is JSN.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, that is someone who can change a game in an incredible way. He is such a good football player. And, you know, I also give credit to Sam Darnold, who's someone that has had a few stops along the way, has not, you know, always found it. And then all of a sudden, he's really coming into his own, and he's the confidence he has. Now, that being said, hopefully this, you know, his I'm seeing ghosts comment comes back against the Patriots this, you know, this upcoming Super Bowl game, but it's going to take their best game of the year, which, you know, you can say that about every playoff game, but this is truly their, you know, a very, very tough challenge that they can rise to. They've shown what they're capable of, but it's going to take a full 60-minute game that the defense has started to put together. We just need to see the offense now put together that full game.
And obviously this is a Super Bowl rematch. Do you think the Seahawks and Seattle fans have a little bit of edge going to this one? They want it a little bit more, or do you think the Pats are going to pull this one off?
I think if they throw the ball at the 1-yard line again, then Seattle fans might riot. No, I mean, the Patriots posted a photo of Malcolm Butler when this rematch was announced. They're having fun with it. But yeah, I think that it wouldn't matter who you're playing. Everyone's going to have a little grudge against the Patriots, just given that they're the Patriots. They won 6 in a row, you know, with Tom Brady, and all of a sudden everyone's talking about the rough years in New England and they're back in the Super Bowl. I think it was Jeff Howe, after the Patriots beat the Texans, had that tweet that's like, they're finally second graders who know what it's like to see the Patriots play in an AFC championship game. And I started laughing hysterically at that because it's so true. But it's fun. It's so fun to be a Patriots fan for this reason. And Patriots fans thrive off being hated. So being at the top again just means they're being hated. And if Seattle's coming for them, so be it.
I mean, for me personally, I obviously didn't grow up a Patriots fan, but it feels like this team is a little different than the last Patriots era. It feels super exciting and, dare I say, likable. So do you think that this new era of the Patriots, how do they differ from the old era of the Patriots?
No, that is very true. I've seen so many people on Twitter or whatever being like, dang it, I don't want to like the Patriots, but I can't help it. It's a much more likable team now. It's also, you got to respect just what's been done in such a short amount of time with the Patriots. They've really put together something special in simply a year. I mean, just over a year ago, we were at Mike Vrabel's introductory press conference, and now we're, packing our bags to go to San Francisco. Who thought that was going to happen? Because certainly not me. I thought I would be on my couch watching the game, not on my way there. So it's truly, truly incredible what's been done. And just, I honestly, I'm a little bit still in shock. Christian Gonzalez, I don't think it's fully sunk in that this has happened.
No, I think every week all of us were just shocked. We were like, oh, they're still winning. They're still winning here.
We were like, oh, I'm seeing you again. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, sorry to put you on the spot here, but I think it might be the last time that we have you on the show this season. Do you have a favorite moment or memory from this season so far?
Favorite moment or memory? God, there have been so many. So many. I think it was that Buffalo win. Now, I didn't go to Buffalo for that one, but just seeing that team come together in the way that they did in Buffalo, that's when I realized that this team has something special, that we're about to see something that's going to I didn't see this, but I still knew that we were looking at something that was going to be talked about for a long time.
It was definitely the turning point for me too. It was the realization, wow, this team can go farther than we all thought. But Sophie, thank you so much for your time.
Always. Thanks for having me.
That'll do it for this edition of New England Nation Overtime.